Hello, I'm Jack Rickard. This is Electric Vehicle Television, and I'm here with the brains of the outfit, El Braino Noto.
Hey.
Brain, it's the week before Christmas.
It is.
Doesn't seem to be squat going on.
Anybody that knows anything is not releasing it this week,
They're
unless
not
it's really
talking about
bad.
this week unless it's really
Unless
bad.
it's really bad.
You're going to be out of town next week, aren't you?
I am.
You're going to be back by Friday?
No.
No.
I'll not be back by Friday.
I think I'm going to skip next week then, too.
Okay. Be a Christmas present.
Took Thanksgiving off. All our mini advertisers will just bump their ad or give them a refund.
Okay, see, you
How
heard
about
it first here, yeah.
And I think we'll take Christmas off. And we don't have a whole lot of a show this week. I have scoured the ecosphere on the internet, and I think everybody's quit going home.
They may have gone home early for Christmas shopping.
I can't tell anything's going on at all.
I know, it's been a tough week.
And we did squat here this week. Last week we talked a good bit of celebration over the Volt charger.
Yes.
Well, it's not quite done.
I've seen you sitting at that chair that we...
I have spent the week sitting there. Some interesting things. It'll take a target voltage and hit it quite precisely.
Okay.
Between 200 and 511 volts is the operating zone
That's
there.
a nice range, yeah.
It'll take a current from 0 to 12.7 amps.
Okay.
If you put in 12.8, it just quits.
Oh, gee.
If you put 512 volts, it just quits. If you put 199 volts, it just quits. But if you're in the right ranges,
okay,
by CAN, it will it'll play. I cannot find a byte or a pair giving me the output voltage.
Oh, really?
Or anything about the 12 volt.
Oh, man. And there's 12 volt.
Mm-hmm. And I've got a number of bytes that just kind of come up when it comes on, have the same value the whole time, and go. There's one whole message that has 1 byte, 78.
Yeah, I remember that one, yeah. Never changes. Right?
It has a hex value of 78. It never changes until you shut it off.
Why even bother, huh?
And then there's a whole other message that has 4 bytes, and they just keep cycling through, like they're counting. 4 bytes in a row that are identical in value.
Oh, gee.
Like the registers are like a slot machine just going.
Keeps coming up, huh?
And so we're into some oddities, but we do not have this done. We're developing tools for CAN reverse engineering, and we're doing some of it on OEM equipment. Did I say it was easy?
No, never said it was easy.
Well, no. Mark and Jim and everything seem to imply that this is just no problem at all.
Just a breeze.
It's no problem to get them to light up.
Oh, yeah, right.
And this thing would make a marvelously efficient water heater.
Yeah, it does. It gets warm.
You have to put liquid cooling to it, and it makes hot water really quick.
Yeah.
But it's a neat little charger. I like it, but we haven't got it figured out yet.
Okay.
And so I've spent kind of day after day this week sitting there poking in various things in rather futile fashion. I have learned some things. We can work the charger. We can actually charge cars with it fairly safely, but since it knows the voltage, I can see it hit the voltage I entered and taper it off. I know it knows what the voltage is.
Right.
It has to be putting it out.
Right. So we weren't able to get
Well,
the message.
I want to know too.
Sure. Right.
And so we still have a ways to go. What did you find on the blogosphere?
Well, let's see. You know, we were talking about Tesla and ZEV credits and things like that, and that California had kind of changed a little bit on the way that they worked them out. Tesla, Elon, at Elon Musk on Twitter, had put out a tweet, pack swap now operating in limited beta mode for SF to LA route. Can swap battery faster than a gas station. Tesla blog out soon. That was all I could find on it. So there's something going on there.
He's responding to the ZEV credit thing. Let's show the original. It was kind of interesting battery swap they showed in June of 2013.
Yes.
So when we designed the Model S, we actually thought, well, we should preserve the optionality. So what if people do want to switch out their battery pack? What if they only want to stop for a short period of time? And when you come to the Tesla station, it shouldn't be really called the supercharging station. It should just be called the Tesla station. You have the choice of the supercharger, which is and always will be free, or you have the choice of a battery pack swap, which is faster than you can fill a gas tank. So the only decision you need to make when you come to one of our Tesla stations is, do you prefer faster or free? We filmed a gas station. The gas station's on the big screen, and there's the battery pack getting swapped out with some festive lights. Nut runners. These are the same nut runners that we use in the factory, and they find the spot where the bolts are and automatically torque the bolts to the exact specification that each bolt needs. So it's torqued to the factory specification every time there's a battery pack swap. Looks like we've got some extra time. So since we've got some extra time, let's do another one. Now, we searched LA for the fastest gas station, which is 10 gallons a minute. And we told Javier there, who's in the thing, go as fast as you can. Almost done with the gas station. Almost done. So he's almost done. He's getting there. don't mean to keep you waiting. My apologies. All right. Voila. I mean, so our goal here was really to eliminate the objections that people have. Obviously, for those of you here, you already believe in electric cars, and in fact, many of you have drove here in a Model S, which is awesome. Thank you. So I love all you guys for supporting Tesla. It's, we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you. Yeah. But what this is about is it's convincing the people that are skeptics. There's some people that just they take a lot of convincing. And so what we really want to show here is that you can actually be more convenient than a gasoline car. We just did 2 Model S's in the time that it took to fill up. And we honestly did try to make the gas tank, the gas station stop go as fast as it could. It only took just about 4 minutes at the gas station, but it took 90 seconds for a pack swap. So hopefully this is what convinces people finally that electric cars are the future. And so anyway, that's what we have for you tonight. Please enjoy the party. Have a good time. Thank you.
Well, isn't that cool?
That is. I like that. Faster than you can fill up.
A couple of things on my car. We have since added a battery shield of titanium and aluminum to prevent our bursting into flames if we hit, I don't know what the
like
guy
a toe
hit.
ball.
Yeah, like a toe.
There was a toe ball in the middle of the road.
If you hit large chunks of machinery in the middle of the road.
Yeah, it could be ugly.
So during one of the services, I had them put that on, and that slows things down. But in his blog this afternoon, he followed up on the Twitter, but again, an information-free notice that they were going to be inviting selected people to come try the battery swap at their Harris Ranch facility. I think that's right across the street from the first supercharger.
Oh, okay. All right.
They're claiming some 311 or something superchargers worldwide now.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
I think you said there was 141 here in the United States.
Yeah, I think so.
I found a lot of the comments to be as expected.
Hard to describe.
Hard to describe nicely.
Yes. Difficult to utter.
One of our viewers said you were nicer than I was, so I'm going to try to be nice this week. If I look a little grim and strained, there's a reason.
What was that? Before we came on, we were laughing. He said, yeah, talk to our ex-wives. Oops.
Yeah. I've got one, and she wants me back.
Yeah, that's mine don't.
How are you doing?
Mine don't.
Do they talk to you
unanimous. Not really.
Not in person.
No, not in person. My name comes up occasionally, I'm sure.
I didn't ask if they talked about you.
Yeah, that's right.
Do they talk to you?
Not really.
Brian likes being married. I do too.
It's a blast.
Good Catholic boys.
Yes, that's right.
But a couple of things that came up was immediately they went to, well, what if I swap off my battery and I get somebody's older battery than mine?
Oh my God. Who'd have thunk it?
And somebody else pointed out, I thought fairly sagely, hey, unless we're in astronaut diapers, I need to get out and go to the toy anyway. What's this battery swap thing? The fast charge works. He seemed perfectly satisfied with the fast charge. Understand the battery swap is entirely about the ZEV credits at the moment.
Yes, yeah.
I'm a little bit fascinated with it because of my good buddy, Mark Webster at Smart USA.
Sure.
He's also the head of their Daimler B model, really the electric cars for a Daimler, Mercedes.
Yes.
And I just think it's one of the most creative things I've ever heard in automotive marketing, where you rent a guy a battery that he already owns.
It's pure genius.
Yeah. and if he doesn't own it, you won't rent it to him.
Right.
Now, I'm getting one. Will I then be able to rent it?
You know, I don't know. You've got an outlaw smart, Jack.
It's, I know. As it turns out, they actually have to recode the VIN number and stuff in, so we're going to have to take the car up to St. Louis and have them install the battery in.
Yeah, so it sounds
so they
like
can recode the thing so it'll recognize the battery.
Yeah, it's got some secret messages that it needs.
Secret messages.
Yes.
They have to flash the vehicle controller. Here go the JevQ. I want to be able to control my own destiny.
There you go. That's right. Just plug me in, baby.
And so, and you will be able to too. And if you just can't figure it out, send me an email, and I'll either send you a software patch or how to do
Something. Yeah, exactly.
No, it opens up a kind of an interesting concept. Imagine if you took that same thing and you offered to rent somebody a battery without them already owning the battery.
That could be cool. Yeah.
Imagine buying a $107,000 car with a $20,000 battery in it.
Sure.
Except you don't get the battery and you don't have to pay the $20,000.
That's not bad. Yeah. Yeah. Because who wants to own a battery anyway?
You know, batteries don't carry with them a great deal of pride of ownership.
No,
it's
they really
sort of a cultural thing here in America, going back to ever-ready flashlights of the 50s.
Yeah, that's right.
You could get a free flashlight if you'd buy the batteries, and the flashlight would last about 15 minutes before you needed more batteries.
That's right, before you need more batteries.
And that was kind of ingrained in all of us. And
Sure.
so we don't get emotionally attached to our batteries because we know they're going away.
That's right. At some point, we're going to have to put them in the trash.
But a picture, if you will, that I own a Tesla Model S, but I don't own the battery, and I don't care anything about the battery. And I just go and swap it out periodically, and always have the very latest chemistry and the very latest in batteries.
Nice. I mean, what a benefit that would be. Instant range, no worries about your batteries, how
It's
long
all
they
about
last.
pricing. At $84 a month, that would work great.
Yeah.
Probably at $150 a month, I'd be pretty happy with that. About $200, and I'm not so happy
Right.
anymore. I'm kind of back to buying gasoline,
that's
which is not what I was really about.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's all about the price. But it's an interesting concept because it dramatically decreases the what I think will be kind of a tough to swallow depreciation on electric cars.
Yeah, that's what people just don't. That's the unknown.
It's
Yeah.
the unknown, but I happen to know the answer. All the people that build electric cars, because you can't really figure out how to fix them, can't get anything for them
right.
on eBay.
Right.
And as the OEMs can't hardly fix them either.
Right.
I'm not sure that it won't be the same thing. The price of the Volts and the Leafs seems to be extremely reasonable without many miles on them. And so
really?
I think
Okay,
we're going to find
yeah.
electric cars depreciate more rapidly than, of course, they start higher
Yes. Yeah.
than the regular automobiles. If you took the battery out of it, If you had a gigafactory, you could probably do that.
Probably make enough batteries, yeah.
It would, give you some assurance that your battery is not going to become either defective or obsolete.
Sure, yeah.
And I would want where if they come up with a new battery, I want that one.
You want that one, yeah, get some increased range, whatever it is,
Other
yeah.
than that, this is just Elon playing for. But the ZEV credits, I was shocked to learn from you, $4,000 of credit. If they can pull off this swap thing, 9 per Tesla Model S.
Yes.
Let's see. 9 times 4. I know this. $36,000, which is about $6,000 above the average price of a U.S. automobile.
Yeah, right, exactly. Not bad.
That Tesla gets for the credits. So I thought that was kind of cool.
It is, very, very interesting.
Any other blogosphere stuff?
It was kind California, it's kind of interesting. The utilities are proposing, Southern California Edison and San Diego Gas, I think one more in San Diego and Orange County, are looking to propose a one-time rebate, not much money, $250 to $300 for an electric vehicle. And it was, the reason was kind of interesting.
They'll give you $300 for your mailing address.
Yeah, they want to know.
They want to know
where you live and what the
clustering.
distribution is. Yeah, and that's kind of worth it to them. It makes sense.
I would imagine that it is.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Give us a VIN number and your address, and we'll give you $300.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm in.
Yeah, exactly.
And I see why they would want it.
Yeah, and they can communicate with you. It's kind of interesting for a couple $100, $300. Yeah.
Again, they worry and sweat and strain about what they don't know anything about, and that's our grid system, because they think it's a fixed asset.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
It's organic. It grows every day. Hundreds of trucks leave the garage to go out and hook up new buildings, disconnect old buildings, swap out transformers that are at the end of their calendar time.
Yes.
Or have otherwise blown sky high.
Yes, that's right, in a big flash.
And basically maintain the grid. And the important part of the grid is the part near you, not the big wires between things. That's a trivial part of it.
Yeah, right, right.
The big part is the last mile.
Yeah, what's in the little substations and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, really from there to your house is the
Yeah.
part that takes constant maintenance.
Okay, yeah.
And if your house burns down, they have to come and disconnect the electric line.
Sure.
And if they build a new house there, they have to come hook them up. First, they have to hook up a temporary service.
Yeah, it's
for
right
the
on a
guys
pole.
building
Yeah,
it.
right.
Then they hook up permanent service. And so it's kind of an organic thing. But to be able to predict by income and neighborhood and so forth, the adoption of electric vehicles, that could be pretty important because it's unlikely to be uniform distribution across their territory.
Right, I know, yeah. You wouldn't expect it to be.
It would be anything but that.
Right, exactly.
It will not be uniform, and after that, we don't know what it would be like.
Yeah.
But we assume the more affluent neighborhoods. And so I can see why they would want to do that.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Let's see, what else? Not too much else. I've got a couple of kind of vehicle things that don't really have much to do with us. But, remember Bull Taco motorcycles?
I do.
They have almost gone away, except they're going to do an off-road electric bike. And we don't talk about electric bikes.
What were they in our day? Bull Taco, Husqvarna, and
There was Hodaka.
Hodakas.
Yeah, Hodakas. Yeah,
These
like the
were-
Spanish ones.
There
yeah.
was the Italian and Spanish ones. were
Yes.
Very Turkey, high RPM
Yep.
things in our day.
Yes.
And we're very nearly the same age. But as adolescents, dirt biking was a tremendous, and in fact, dirt track races were a big deal. And Bull Taco, Hodaka, Husqvarna.
Yeah, there were some other brands out there too, Spanish brands. I can't even remember. They used to do trials and enduros and things like that. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So they're They're going to do an electric bike.
You know, they asked me the other day why I was against electric bicycles and motorcycles.
We never said we're against electric bikes and motorcycles.
You know, we completely approve of electric bicycles and motorcycles. We think they're marvelous. Scooters. Let me show you something I found on the internet about the 9-bot 1.
Okay.
This is the minimum you can get. A one-wheel unicycle this tall that you can kill yourself with in one smooth motion.
You gore the edge like on a Segway.
No, we love all of it. Here's the problem. We can't add anything to it. We don't know anything about them. Imagine me on a bicycle. What if I fell? I could not only kill myself, but wipe out a whole neighborhood. I bought a daughter a Yuba cargo bike in their first electric version.
Yeah.
But there's 20 million of these things in operation in Asia.
Right.
Scooters and electric bikes.
Yes.
It's done to death. What am I going to add to it?
Yeah. We'd just be a couple guys that think they're cool.
Right.
And they
So
are.
that's not what EVTV is about. But that does not mean that we don't completely not only approve of them, but I myself owned a Segway.
Yes.
I don't know where.
We don't know.
I don't know what happened.
We don't know
to it,
how
actually.
it got away.
I think a guy that worked for me sort of made out on that deal.
I forgot the charger.
But in any event, it's I've had Segways and the whole thing. We love all that stuff. In fact, I've said many times that probably the area of innovation that is interesting is something like this 9-bot or the Scruiser. Do you remember the Scruiser?
Yeah, like a last mile
I'll put
device.
a photo of that up. It's like a scooter for fat guys. I think I could get with these, but they've just never actually brought them to market. But I think something like that's a very pregnant idea, but what would I do about it?
Yeah, we could have a daily show on...
Convert a Cushman. We do cars. We're dabbling in boats. And speaking of which, Jeff Southern of Kennesaw, Georgia. Jeff is actually kind of an accomplished mechanical type engineer, but he wound up working for Rockwell on the Allen Bradley line of programmable logic controllers. So he's kind of laughing up his sleeve as I discover programmable logic controllers after he had sent me one 2 years ago. And I gave it back to him. I never plugged it in.
He brought it here and showed it to us.
I don't have any 24-volt DC.
No.
There's also a thing now that Paulo put me on to called a Controlino.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fascinating, but the guy doesn't think it's for automotive use and won't let us sell them. But I'm going to play with them.
Sure.
Anyway, let's take a look at Jeff. Is kind of been tied up with work and so forth.
Okay.
And wife, but he's going to start a new project, a pickup truck.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so, but first he has to knock out my Aristocraft boat, and he's been noodling it some, and now he has some time off over the holidays. He's going to make a run at it. Jeff Southern of Kennesaw, come in, please.
Hi guys, Jeff Southern here. Finally getting started on the Aristocraft boat project for Jack. As you can see behind me here, we're into the Christmas season. Jack, I apologize for it taking me so long to get this project off the ground. Just a lot of delays. Could go on and on about it, but hey, I'm started now. Kind of got some time off at the end of the year, so I'm going to spend some time getting this boat project quite done think you're going to see a lot of progress in the next couple of weeks. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a basic background in what I think it takes to start a project like this. Starting a project like this can seem a little overwhelming, and I'm just going to kind of go through the basic steps that you've got to go through to decide how you're going to mount everything, where it's going to be, what the mechanical assemblies are going to be. Whether you make them yourself or have somebody make them, you still have to kind of dream up how the arrangement's going to be, how the components are going to go together. And that's what this video is about. It's just a place to get off the ground. You're not going to see a lot of technical detail here, but what you are going to see is the thought process I use to get a project like this going. And I hope you enjoy the video.
Well, here is the boat in my shop. As you remember, this is a gorgeous boat. I know many of you saw it at EVCon. I still think it's going to be a gorgeous build. Beautiful cockpit, Jack's favorite banjo steering wheel. It is, of course, an Aristocraft boat. Many of the original castings on this boat are from the original period. These are actually molds from the original period. Of course, many of you have seen the jet pump, and I've sort of going to explain a little more about how to see what I was handed to work with here. This is the mount that was used to mount the motor to the impeller pump. This is the impeller pump for the jet ski. As you can see, it has a kind of a little bit of a flexible coupler here. This is where the electric motor will be attached. I'll have to make a mating plate for this. I was hoping I could buy one, but I haven't been able to find one yet. I'm still working on trying to procure that. It would be much easier to buy one than it would to try to make a new one. This mount is where the motor bolted to it. So what I'm going to do is probably utilize this same mounting point. Here I am in the shop. I'm going to make some stuff to mock up the motor and the base and everything for mounting it in the boat. I thought I'd show you one thing. Jack had mentioned yesterday, or last show, excuse me, these little PLCs that you can utilize. He mentioned a texting module. This actually is one. It's from a company called ProSoft Technologies. So these little plug-in modules actually mount. As you can see, it's these little plug-in modules just snap right into the front of it. So you have various ones. This one happens to be an analog input module, 16-bit analog digital accuracy. This one happens to be a serial port. This one is a ProSoft texting module, as I said. I have found out that a company called HMS Anybus that makes a lot of these communication gateways, they're about to make one of these for CAN bus. So it's going to be really cool. We're going to be able to pop one on these things and have immediate CAN bus into these PLCs. You'll be able to expand them. This happens to be 2 units. We have units that go all the way up to 7 different units. Just thought you'd like to see it. Here's the foam I'm going to use to mock everything up with. I buy it in these sheets. I actually use it for shipping. In years past, I used to design and build industrial computer systems, and I would use cutout foam to ship them just to protect them. This happens to be an anti-static foam, but just any old regular shipping foam would work. It's cheap, easy to cut with a razor knife. Okay, we got some parts cut out. This is basically my UQM motor. Not cut out all that straight, but it doesn't really matter. It's really just to make sure everything fits. Going to use a little Super 77 spray adhesive. Probably better if you use Super 90. This is what I got, so this is what I'm using. There you go. UM motor mock-up. While we're letting the glue on my mock-up motor dry, I'll show you my plans for how to do the drive shafts on this system. I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a spline here. It's a cold roll steel piece. I don't know if Jack had these made or if they came with the UQM motors, but there's basically a spline that goes all the way through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bearing that has this outer diameter on it. This particular diameter happens to be 40 millimeters. And I'm going to weld in a rod like this. So it'll actually be cut off, but this is actually going to get welded all the way around here. And so the UQM motor will just slide right into the end of the shaft here. This will go into the bearing, and the sprocket will ride on this, and there'll be a smaller bearing. Obviously, this is 40 millimeters. This is an inch bar. Looks like it might have to be a little over an inch, so I got some more bar stocks a little bit bigger. So basically, it'll be turned down. This will be pressed into here. I'll use about a 5 or 10 thousandths press fit. I'll press fit this in here, weld it all the way around solid with a MIG welder, and then cut this off to length and probably put it on the milling machine and cut a key slot in it. And this will be the upper drive pulley. So this will actually drive, the motor will just slide in here from the rear. So the motor will be mounted with a bearing here and a bearing here with the pulley in the middle. So that way there'll be no overhung load or side loading, is what some people call it. It's actually, technically it's called overhung load on the motor. And this will give us a nice drive shaft. I won't have to make a special spline. This spline here, I think. Okay. How are we going to mount this motor in the boat? Well, I showed you earlier, this is the motor mount that actually came with the jet ski. This was how the original motor was mounted in. It has a couple of bolts here in the back, some rubber bushings, and some really nice mounts. This spreader bar may or may not stay, don't really know for sure. But what we're going to have to do with the boat is we're going to have to make a plate that bolts onto here, if you will. Has a bearing in it for the lower drive shaft, and it'll have another upper bearing in the upper drive shaft. However, to tension the belt, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can use an idler sprocket. So you could use a solid plate and have an idler sprocket rock in and tension the belt, which is the way a lot of belts on a typical car are done. You've probably seen the little tensioner idler sprockets. I may do it that way, may not. One thing about an idler tensioner is they actually have a tremendous amount of load on them. People don't realize it, but when you pull that belt, all the tension and the horsepower is being transmitted in tension around that belt. And that tension wants to pull that belt out and push that idler arm out. So I don't think it's not that we can't do an idler arm, it's just that I find they tend to be troublesome. Or we can make the entire plate move up and down with the motor. So the whole weight of the motor and everything winds up moving up and down. And that's probably how I'm going to go. It sounds more complicated. It definitely is a little more complicated to make the mechanism. But then again, it does two things for me. Number one, it eliminates the whole idler thing, which typically are very troublesome in these type of drive systems. And then number two, it allows me to change gear ratios. By changing the belt size and the pulley size and diameters a little bit, I can have enough movement in the plate so I can handle various gear ratios. I don't think this device is going to need a gear ratio. I did consult a jet pump specialist, and he's very camera shy, wouldn't let me video him. His basic opinion is that it would run just fine as a straight shaft. This UQM motor will put out good torque up to about 4,800 RPM, and then it kind of drops off pretty quick. And I think it would work fine. These jet pumps are really designed to use a little higher RPM in that. I know the particular motor in this one was rated to go up to 7,000 RPM. But again, that would also be close to 70 miles an hour. So, this boat's never going to see 70 miles an hour unless it's on the back of a trailer. So I suspect we're in the 35 to 40 mile per hour range. If you figure half of 7,000, you're at 3,500 RPM. So again, direct drive I think is fine. Probably could design a system for direct drive in the boat. I've looked at it. I just don't think the stringers are designed to carry that much weight. I would prefer to mount the motor to the fiberglass in the boat. It's much stronger. If I do damage it, and like Jack said, if I accidentally drill a hole through it, it's much easier to repair fiberglass than it is wood. Although you can use the similar techniques to repair wood, it's just never as strong. You can repair fiberglass pretty well damaged, and you wind up with similar strength to what you started with. So that's my thoughts. This is kind of a little bit of an introductory to the video on how to get started with this project.
Redneck EVTV.
Redneck EV.
That looks pretty good, actually. Jeff Jeff did a nice job. I like how he's doing it.
I like how he shares the process.
Yeah, uh-huh.
You know, how do you, any of this stuff when you're noodling it, you kind of break it into pieces, and it really helps to model things
To see
like
it,
that.
exactly.
And
yeah.
I like modeled full size like he's doing, because we've several times designed things that fit in the car perfectly, but won't go through the opening.
That's right. You have to take the car apart and saw pieces off.
You had a front
Seen it
battery
here.
box made out of like 4 pieces. You had to put it in and
Yeah.
rivet them all together because it wouldn't go in.
It
in
wouldn't
one
go
piece.
in any other way. Exactly.
So that's some good techniques, and I think it's worthwhile seeing some of the thought process there. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I have been puzzling with the, what Mike Breen call it, the PlayStation? Not.
Yeah.
This is non-trivial, guys. I'm going to go out on a limb right now and predict this will be one of the biggest things in EVs in 2015.
Oh,
and
nice.
that by the end of the year, it will be unusual to see the most meager DIY EV without one of these.
Okay. All right.
It's a 7-inch, 800 by 480 pixel display. You can get it with or without touchscreen. Right now, he has it in 2 versions, as we said last week, and I did get the pricing, and I don't know if I brought it with me. Maybe you know it off the top of your head. One of them has a touchscreen for the Orion BMS because you can go to different screens.
Yeah.
And you have to touch it. And it's set up for the Orion BMS. That one is $625.
$620. $620 with the touchscreen. Yeah, that's right.
Right. The other one is specifically set up, and I understand this is not for all Curtis controllers. It's set up for the HP EVS, Curtis 1238 and 1239.
Yeah.
Brian Gallagher has done some specific software for the Curtis controller, for his motors, and now has the information that Brian Gallagher needs to make that reel on a display to show the motor temperature and the controller temperature and the RPM and the motor amps and the motor volts and so forth.
Cool. Yeah. Nice.
And so that's and you don't have to program anything. You connect 2 wires to 12-volt return, and it takes 9 to 36 volts. And a couple of wires, and they give you the harnesses.
Yes.
Right? There's a whole bunch of stuff on here. You don't do most of this. It's pretty simple. And a couple of wires to the CAN bus wires that are not normally connected on the Curtis controller
Curtis
connector.
controller, sure. Yeah.
And it sends CAN bus messages to this, and this simply positions displays to show that.
That is cool.
The Orion version is a little more advanced. Why am I excited? They can do anything with this. It's really, this is like a JevQ. Inside here is a multi-controller. They have USB ports, Ethernet ports on this thing, USB ports, CAN bus, all kinds of stuff. And so it's ultimately programmable. Now they do the programming, but Mr. Gallagher is going to do, I think he's calling it a designer's interface kit.
Yeah. So some kind of toolkit, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but that is where you can go in Photoshop and make your own graphics and bring them in here and tie them to values you receive over CAN commands.
Okay. That's
And so
really cool.
we can do this with the JLD 505. We can do this with the JevQ. We can make a lot of things happen with it. This is the display I've been looking for.
I know we've been looking for displays for a long time. Yeah.
I love technological innovation and productization, and he's done this pretty slickly. I'd say very professionally, and supposedly February of 15, we'll have this design kit. So I thought it would be a little bit interesting for you all to see why this thing came out of nowhere. We alluded to who's my buddy in San Diego with a baby blue, Richard Rodriguez.
Richard Rodriguez,
914.
Yeah.
But he'd worked with him. That it's a little bit more involved in that than that. Brian Gallagher is the principal at Andromeda Interfaces, I think they're calling it.
Andromeda Interfaces, yes.
And he's a very interesting guy in San Diego. Mm-hmm. He was working for a company called Illumina. Illumina started in 1998. By 2005, 2006, MIT had named this the top company in their list of 50 smartest companies.
Oh, really?
They were
Wow.
doing some single nucleotide polymorphism genotyping.
Oh, okay.
SNP genotyping.
For short.
Went on to DNA methylation profiling. Basically, they got you've heard of the Human Genome Project.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's 25 years old. They've mapped a lot.
Yes.
And they can do a profile on an individual. This company can it's down to about $1,000, which makes certain research functions viable for the first time.
Right, yeah. You've got the data. Yeah.
And
Yep.
he and a guy named Steve Fambro worked at Illumina.
Okay.
Steve was a pilot, and he had an idea to make a car, an electric car, like an airplane.
All right.
And
Okay.
he worked with Brian Gallagher, and Brian Gallagher had a buddy who did boat hulls,
Really?
but composite.
Oh, okay.
And he
Yeah.
introduced them at dinner, and that is what became Aptera.
Okay, and that makes sense. In San Diego and the whole thing, they were all down there. Yeah, okay.
You recall Aptera, we followed that for years before it folded and failed.
Right. Yep.
Why did it fold and fail? It was a very out there avant-garde design from a scratch piece of paper.
Right.
And as I've said many times, this is almost not doable. It's admirable,
Yeah.
but it's almost not doable.
Yeah.
A car is very Darwinian, and of course they got down to, I believe, during one of the venture rounds, how do you order at McDonald's with the closed windows?
That's right. I remember that.
And but that company raised, I'm going to say, $35 or $36 million along the way.
Really? Okay.
Before
Wow.
they failed, and there was a lot of people putting down deposits on that car.
Okay.
Shortly after it started, Brian Gallagher, really from the beginning, started sort of working with him on the side on the suspension, but he was really kind of engaged in the infotainment system. And in 2007,
okay.
he left Illumina and went to work with Aptera full time. And on their infotainment system, this is really the predecessor of Tesla's big screen control display.
Okay. That makes sense.
Aptera had that really before.
You're right. Yeah.
Tesla did.
Yeah.
And of course, all these guys see each other's stuff out there. Brian was really the chief baker, can and bottle washer, and keeper of the infotainment system in the Aptera, and wound up being the engineering manager. He managed all the engineering for Aptera.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this guy's non-trivial and has a very sound background in displays,
Wow.
specifically for electric vehicles,
Yeah.
and has suddenly landed, going to do one for the DIY crowd.
Nice.
And
We're
you know,
lucky.
kind of a true believer believes that one of the things that we obviously need is a better look on our gauges.
Yeah.
I take it he was underwhelmed by my JLD 404 cheap Chinese amp hour counter. Don't blame you.
That's right.
I was underwhelmed when I first found it, but it was cheap and it worked.
Yeah, they work.
And it
Still
was
does.
better than the little round dials I found when I showed up here.
Yes, remember that. Some of them were like they came out of submarines. Some of them were little.
He's doing some gorgeous
Yep.
displays for this, and it's going to be fairly open. I'm not going to say it's going to be like an open source multi-controller, but it's he's going to have essentially an application programming interface or API where you can make this your own if you want, and has some off-the-shelf things for the rest of us that you just plug in.
Just plug right in. That's very, very cool.
And you cut you a hole in the dash, mount that, run a few wires to your HP EVS system or your Orion BMS, and very quickly, like in a month or two, to your JLD 505 or JevQ,
There we go.
and you'll have more info than you ever wanted to know about your EV, and certainly more and better info than the Volt or the Leaf or somebody like that has.
No turtle.
You're going to have to load your own turtle.
You have to load that.
I'm
You
gonna
can do it
bet
yourself.
Then I'm not going to make a turtle, and I'm going to bet Brian Gallagher ain't going to make a turtle either.
No turtle, man.
But if you want a turtle, it's your EV. That's
Or
what
any
we
other
say
animal.
all. That's right. That's right.
That's right. It's your EV.
It's you want turtles, you should have turtles.
That's right. Everywhere.
But so I think that you might even see. I would predict you'll even see guys taking this and coupling it with Elm things to do auxiliary displays for the Leaf and the Volt.
Okay.
You see where I'm going with that?
Yep. I do.
Add-ons for those
Yeah.
that are a little more technical than the turtles and the Mars.
Yeah, get some real info. Yeah.
And so this is seminal work, and by a guy who knows how to do
Yeah,
it.
right. Who knows? He probably knows what he's doing.
And
wow.
we have immediately signed up to be a dealer for it. I've got them both up on the website. It's not really where we're going with it, but we got to get the kit to get it going with the JevQ and
Sure.
the JLD 505. As of today, we're having problems with the serial library reading the temperature probe on the JLD 505, and Paulo's going to try a different library.
Okay. All right.
But so it's not probably going into China before Christmas. after all.
Okay. We were trying to get it this week. Yeah.
But I'm very enthusiastic about this. Big fan of Mr. Gallagher. His website is, I wish he'd come do mine. It's that good.
He's got a nice site. Yeah.
Very clear information and specifications. I think the perfect design touch here. Picked two good platforms to roll out on,
Yeah.
frankly.
Yes.
And but we can extend that for the JevQ and the JLD 505 and some of our work to the UQM system, to the Siemens system,
Sure, yeah.
probably to the Reinhardt Siemens system, and so on down the road.
Via the JevQ.
Very quickly
Yeah.
by the middle of the year. And Jim Hanna and I would predict also for 2015 that we'll have a Leaf test bench up with a Leaf inverter and a motor and JevQ, and again, the electric vehicle interface controller is what he's calling it, EVIC. And so I've taken a deeper look at this and him and where all this henceforth derives from.
Yes.
And I'm getting more excited, and so it's we won't be dismissing it as a PlayStation. I think it's going to be huge.
Perfect.
Going into the future.
Yeah, we've been looking for this for a long time.
Actually, let's go to Ireland and see
Okay.
what's actually going on with a BMW 840i. Do you even know what that is? He calls it the tank.
The tank.
The Penza. Damien McGuire, you fearless little dwarf.
He's at it, man.
He is going after it. Here's my Yoda. Show us the way.
Hello folks, welcome to your Panzer update. Now I know that we haven't made too many videos relating to the Panzer project recently. I have quite a bit of stuff going on in the sidelines, but we're now back on to getting ready for our power plant transplant. Planting. Right, I'm doing it again actually. Okay. So, what have I been doing? Well, pretty much past couple of weeks I've been doing a lot of preparatory work. So that pretty much means that I've been going around the car, stripping out various systems, components, etc. relating to its previous benzene fuel system. So a lot of people think that, oh, you know, it's fairly straightforward. You pull out an engine and gearbox, throw in an electric motor, and you're all set. Well, that may be the case in some applications, but not in this one, because what we have here is it's a fairly complicated car for its age, and as such we've got to go in there and weed out the bits that we don't want. So for example, and I'll run through this in a few minutes, up here in the engine compartment, well formerly the engine compartment, we had to get rid of a lot of things like fuel system components, cruise control components. We had to replumb certain parts of the power steering system, because unlike most vehicles that use vacuum to run the brake booster, over here to my left we have a hydro boost system. So what that means is that pressurized hydraulic fluid from this reservoir here not only feeds the hydraulic steering, which is to my right here, and it's also a steering box. Unlike a lot of cars that have steering racks, this baby has a steering box. There's a little hydraulic motor here that helps to turn the steering when we give it hydraulic pressure. So we got to provide pressurized fluid to this baby, and also via this valve here decides then when we need to send fluid to the brake booster to give us braking assistance. So that's taken a bit of working out for myself, getting used to it, and figuring out what components in here that I need to change around and replumb and stuff like that. So I've been working this out slowly but surely. Also got rid of a lot of ancillary bits here recently. Oh, I suppose I've got to put it back in actually. Got them out again. Anyway, so we got rid of the airbox here, which is a big plastic filter housing assembly, which took a bit of working around to get at some of the hose clips on the air ducting and stuff like that. So once we got that out, this gives me a lovely big bay here underneath the right side headlight unit, where we can install things, maybe get an air conditioning compressor in there, that sort of thing, because we got our aircon hoses conveniently located, so maybe that. Around here we had a big fuel evaporative emissions canister nonsense thing, so got that out. Here we had loads of actuators for cruise control and that, so it's been basically just working out all the bits that we don't need. And just today now I got at the rear end of the car and got rid of the fuel filler, all of that kind of thing. So we'll have a look at that and be right back. Okay, so around the back of the car today, we've been pretty much getting rid of the old fuel system and fast charging port. So we got all these old rusty fuel lines and brackets and nonsense here. We got the tank out about a week ago, so we got to take out the filler neck, stuff like that. So there's the old, don't think that's a CHAdeMO port somehow. So we got rid of that and some emissions control nonsense there. So we got all that stuff taken out. And on this vehicle, strangely enough, it was quite easy to do that. It was all bolted in and readily accessible, unlike the E39, which really didn't want me taking out that kind of stuff. So now that we got the old filler port out, I went to size up our Type 2 charging inlet here, and it's just an absolute perfect fit for the old petrol filler system here. So we'll be wiring that up and bracketing that baby in and getting her set up, but it's a really nice fit there, almost as if the Germans intended it to be that way. Didn't intend for me to be such a ham-fisted monkey, but there you have it. So there we are, that's our new AC charging port, which will be fitted to the car now that we've gotten rid of the old petrol filler. So another area that we've been working on has been down in the tunnel. Once we got in underneath the car, all that area there that you can see literally in frame now was covered in a horrible kind of a noise and heat insulation blanket that must have been eaten by rodents at some point. It was really falling apart and it was soaking up moisture and just generally horrible. So you can see some bits that are on the ground there just underneath the car. Got all that pulled out. It was a really horrible job, that getting rid of all that heat shielding and scraping away the bits of it that were stuck to the body. But we got it done and really cleaned it up nicely there in preparation for reinstalling our electric powertrain. Okay, so here we've got some of the components we've stripped out recently. Part of the replumb on the power steering system meant that we could get rid of these coolant lines and cooler. Now you might be thinking to me, well, geez, Damien, do we not need to keep our hydraulic fluid cool? The answer to that is yes, but there is a little caveat here. Generally, we now do not have a big V8 engine in here creating tons and tons of heat, and so the actual ambient temperature underneath the bonnet of the car will be significantly lower than it would have been under normal operating conditions with the V8 engine. So all this stuff is pretty much not required at the minute. Now what we've then got are these kind of actuator solenoid scenarios here. These were used for cruise control and stuff like that. We'll be using electronic cruise control. We'll be feeding signals into the motor controller, letting it do its own thing. So these big ass solenoids and motors and stuff are pretty much not required anymore. So as anyone's been watching the recent videos will be aware, our Panzer is going to be equipped with a CHAdeMO compliant DC fast charging system. It's going to be very important for long distance travel and to make the experience of driving the vehicle as close to traditional combustion powered fueling stops, etc. as we can get with current battery technology. Now, as we saw, we're going to be installing our AC charging port in place of the original petrol filler. So that leaves us a question then of where do we install the DC fast charging port. So I was kind of looking around the car and I focused in on these kidney grills on the front. Now the E31 has got quite small kidney grills here for a BMW. Generally they're a lot bigger. The E39 has got much larger kidney grills than these guys. So what I'm planning to do is to remove one of them, as in the grill part with the chrome surround, etc. And we're going to make something. I'm not quite sure what that's going to be just yet, but it's going to be something that will mimic the external appearance of this kidney grill, but will be removable. So we'll have a little ring pull or something like that on there. And then in behind that guy, we will have our CHAdeMO fast charging socket. So we can drive the car straight into a DC fast charging station, pull out our door or shield or cover or whatever you want to call it, and pretty much plug straight in to our DC fast charging, gas the car up while we get a cup of coffee and motor on. So that's hopefully going to work out for me. This is actually something that I'm going to do pretty soon, even before I start installing the drivetrain, because it'll give me the space I need inside here to work on with it. Then that'll be it. Put your cover back in there, drive on. Okay folks, so that about wraps up our video today, taking a look at some of the components that we've taken out of the car. We're very near now to being ready to install our Siemens motor, controller and ZF5 HP24 automatic gearbox in here. Hopefully all of this goes to plan for me. Got my new drive shaft made up there ready to go. So once we get all this stuff in, we'll be back probably over the Christmas holidays sometime if the weather permits me. I get this car at least doing a little bit of a roll. I'd like to. We got a few issues around bodywork and that, as you've seen there. Nothing major, thankfully, so we can get that taken care of. But this is a good car. It's a good project. Really enjoying it. So stay with us, folks. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon. Getting too old for this. Oh.
Actually, he's busy.
Actually, he is. And he's doing some pretty good
He
stuff.
is. No,
so,
Damien's cool.
we're going to keep an eye on that and work with him on the basically the CHAdeMO fast
Yeah.
charge kit
Yeah.
for electric vehicles. And I intend that to be completed first quarter of 2015. So that's some of our objectives, is to put a pretty face on our controller for our AC motors, to extend our AC motors to include the Leaf drivetrain, basically.
Right.
And I would like in 2015 to extend the our drivetrains. We have the UQM and the Siemens now, and I want to see the Leaf, and I want to see the Reinhardt with the Siemens as well in the new year.
Okay. Okay.
And with a pretty face on them,
Yes.
and easy to operate, and it's kind of in this market, you have to swing both ways. I don't mind throwing the bottom feeders, DIY electric junk under the bus at all. But it's kind of a strange thing between a ready-made product and an open product.
Right.
And what we see is that most of our viewers want to plug it in and go. They don't want to get sidetracked on a 6-month project to develop one component.
Sure.
But they do like being able to tailor it and make it their own way.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
And so that's going to be kind of the design principle here at EVTV, is to do things that you can plug in and make go in a few minutes. And then you can spend the rest of the next 3 years tuning and changing that to make it be exactly what you want to be. And where we can, we'll do that where you don't have to do any C++ program. Although it's a lot more fun than Colin and I make it look like.
It's got to be a blast.
It is. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I find it very satisfying.
Zen-like.
It is. It's just pretty cool. There's a lot of ways to do the same thing.
Yes.
And so it almost becomes an art form. Colin's a little more artistic than I am. I follow the 100 monkey approach.
There you go.
100 monkeys, 100 typewriters. One of them will write word star.
That's right. Yeah.
I guess that doesn't make any sense anymore. Nobody knows what word star is. Somebody will write Microsoft Excel.
There you go. They'll do the Office suite.
Yeah. And so if I type long enough, it'll start to work.
Yeah, there you go.
And but I can read mine.
Yes.
It has comments and things.
That's right.
So that's sort of a little peek into where we want to go in the next year. And the objective is more people doing more conversions more widely with better components that they acquire at less expense to make better cars less expensively. And it is admittedly a small niche in the world right now.
It is.
And we intend total niche dominance. And then when it blows up, which I'm confident that it will, and do a couple of million guys. Well, when it's a couple 100,000 guys, we're going to have a party. But when it's a couple million, I'll probably get out. You don't need me anymore at that point.
That's right.
It's kind of like the internet. So that's a little peek into kind of our development areas for the next year. Again, we're not doing much DC motor stuff. We're going more to AC motors, more to OEM style components, DC to DC converters, chargers, and the like. But we're going to stay focused on kind of do some cherry picking and focus on the quality end of that.
Yes, absolutely.
And and then take over the world.
All right. Why not?
I don't really have much else, Brain.
Okay. I think we've.
Short show?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a nice show.
Didn't you have a really short clip? What was that?
Oh, yeah, I did. I brought a very short video here. In the racing thing, but not really. A group, the Academic Motorsports Club in Zurich, a bunch of students, and they've done I think 3 or 4 ice engine cars. Then a couple of years ago, they went over to electric vehicles, and they are trying to break records, acceleration record in this case. They have set that record, and they have gone from 0 to 100 kilometers, 62 miles an hour, in under 30 meters. That's a little under 33 yards in 1.785 seconds.
Wow. 0
to 62 miles an hour. And they kind of crushed the previous record. It was 2.134 seconds. I mean, when you're talking about 2 seconds, knocking a quarter of a second off of that or a third of a second off is a lot. But they are out there in Zurich and Lucerne, Switzerland, doing EVs. And they're in a little carbon fiber car.
And you have a clip of that?
We have a little bit of the shortest clip we've ever shown.
Okay, let's look at it.
All right.
Well, that doesn't take long.
That was that. It took longer for the guy to get him started and show him going for a second.
I had we're hearing from a lot of university buildings.
Yes, we
and
are.
I had one who's going to be in that hybrid.
The Formula Hybrid?
Formula Hybrid.
Yeah.
And he wanted us to sponsor him on batteries. Now, I'm not too given to that, but I told him I'd take a look at it, and I talked to Keegan and all the way back to China. And while we're mashing it around, he tells me he's got another sponsor. Who was it? I can't recall.
Okay.
But he got a battery sponsor in the
Okay.
meanwhile.
Okay.
But he wasn't going to try to win anyway.
I wasn't going to try to win?
Yeah. I said, what are you going to do to win this thing? He said, we're just going to try to give all the students a good experience.
Oh.
I said, no, we prefer to sponsor people.
We want to
people that
sponsor
win.
winners.
Of course, my track record now isn't too good. I sponsored a drag racing guy. It never made it to the first race. Never did send back the money either.
Yeah, we didn't have our best experience on our first motorsport sponsorship. Oh, well.
Not too good one on our second one.
I
either.
know.
We got beat out by
We got
another
beat out
company.
by another battery company. Oh, well.
Yeah, they weren't really a battery company. It was kind of strange.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they just fronted the money, huh?
But it's kind of slow talking back and forth to China.
Oh, yeah.
So it took me a while. But there'll be others. We're hearing from a lot of, as I was telling Brian the other day, I think what's happened is a lot of the universities had sort of adjunct professors who were teaching electric cars and forming electric car clubs.
Yeah, well.
Funding the build out of their own pocket and urging the students to hold a bake sale to buy components. That's how it was working out here in the Southeast. Suddenly, with the Leaf and the Tesla and so forth, there was a sea change. And I believe the situation now is, of course, Brian and I both are married to professors up at Southeast. I can tell you the whole ivory tower world of universities in the United States is kind of pretty much 100%, I would call them effete, elitist liberals. Of the most disconnected and unaware kind. Brian and I are sufficiently conservative that Republicans really don't cut it. I am a libertarian, and I think he's an anarchist.
That's right. Got to stick a dynamite
Actually,
in
if you
a
go
Molotov cocktail.
a little bit right of libertarian, you start to come around on the left
That's
side
right.
of liberal.
It's not linear, yeah.
Me and Tom Jennings, the guy who started Fighter Nets, we were fast buddies. He was completely left, I was completely right, and we were so far to the extremes, we actually agreed on this
There
thing.
you go. Must be a circle and not a line.
Sometimes for different reasons, but we
But it
usually
still got
had the same
Still got there.
Crazy. And so, unlikely bedfellows. But I believe what's happened is, what happened was that now if you do not have a fully funded and fairly progressive alternate energy program at your school, you are open to the accusation and the suspicion that you might be a closet Tea Party Republican coven.
Oh, that's right.
Buried in the
With
university
a
system.
pentagram and some chicken bones.
That's
and
right.
things. That's
You
right.
might be a closet Republican.
That's right. Oops.
Tea Party guys.
Oh, God.
Of the worst sort and worse yet. You could be a global warming denialist.
Oh, no, you could be a denier.
Yeah, denier.
You could be a denier.
Is it denier or denialist? I've seen it
Either
both
one. That's right.
global
You just don't want to be
warming
painted either.
denialist, Tea Party Republican
Oh, my God, of the highest order.
plant
That's right.
in,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the university system. So there's kind of a scramble
Yeah.
to, here's these poor guy, adjunct professors like, sure, I can come up with a plan to spend $180,000 next semester.
Yeah.
I've got one right here.
Whoop. Now we've got a grant machine that can figure
I'll
that
have
out.
it by Monday.
Couple of-
And so we're hearing from some of those.
We are.
And
Cool.
so another thing we should get done for 2015 is update our catalog.
Yes.
I was going to do that. We're still going to do that. There's a lot of work to it. Maybe over Christmas. I think my wife's leaving town. I may go in the hole and see if I can gen something up.
That's right.
The easy part is the 100 vehicles. We have about 120, I guess,
Yes.
in the database now. Gorgeous vehicles. We haven't put any of ours in.
No. No.
We should add some of those.
I know.
That's actually Chris Fisher.
Yes.
He lives in Sweden, and he does a lot of our database work. He's made it where I can output a PDF of any of those
Yeah, much easier than it used to be.
entries. It's where it's 2 pages. And so we'll take 100 of them and do 2 pages each. And that'll be a pretty hefty catalog of various vehicles that people have built. You want to have your vehicle in there. And then we will back that with 70 or 80 pages of
Yeah, that's what we're going to have.
our stuff.
Yeah, of our store catalog, yeah.
The store catalog, and the store catalog part is the part I haven't really figured out how to do
How to
easily.
make it automated? Yeah, no, we haven't.
Well, to push a button and have that happen, but probably not going to be there, is it?
Not this round. No.
But that's the other thing we learned with the university types. Very high-tech, very out there, leading the charge, but they sure like to have a piece of paper in their hand.
I know. No, catalogs are still. I'd sent
They
you that
actually call and
article.
request more copies of the
I
catalog.
know more copies of the catalog.
You already have a copy of the catalog. Oh, I've got 3 copies, but we want 4 more.
That's right. We need 4 more. We need to put one with our grant.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? Print about 5,000 of those?
We might have to print a bunch of them. Yeah.
We won't be a magazine specifically, but I think it'll get out there.
Yeah.
It'll be a much traveled piece.
I think so too. Yeah.
If I would just sit down and do it. If I had a graphics designer that would sit down and do it for me. Chris's wife does that. She just told him not only no, but hell no.
Looks like a lot of work, huh?
Yeah.
He was trying to explain how simple and easy it was.
Well, I didn't.
Then you do it, Chris.
We got to get that going for 2015.
We do.
And so that's some of our goals and New Year's resolutions. Brian is going skiing next
I
week
am.
with his
Good
lovely
snow.
bride. I'm singing at the Midnight Mass,
Oh, that's right.
of course. As a good portion of the bass section of the St. Mary's Youth Choir. Median age is 57.
Got a few more packs of Camel to smoke before,
I gotta
before
smoke
Mass.
a couple
Keep that
Camels
baritone
before I go
going.
in. And give it hell. I'm not real enthusiastic about our music this year, but there was a couple of nice pieces.
Oh, good. Okay.
That'll be fun. And my daughter's going to Ecuador
Oh, okay. Okay.
to try to replace some of the kids that have come up from there to cross the border into Mexico.
Don't lose your passport, huh?
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm a
It's
little,
a long way home.
You thought about just going to Cuba? Have you heard?
Yeah, that's right. I heard the news.
Why do you have to go to Ecuador?
It's going to be just like the Mexican Riviera. Yeah.
But there you go. And so the next thing, I'm sure I'll get a ransom demand. Or be called to be the one that they are going to deport after catching her at the border.
That's right.
And so that's, what do you think about China and Sony?
Well, it is interesting because, they pulled the interview, I guess, that the movie. I guess that that's kind of interesting. And is that what you were talking about? The North
Yes.
Korea and the interview and everything?
On the TV yesterday and today, they've been on and on about what the U.S. response should be to this hacker network that from Northern Korea.
North Korea, yeah.
That apparently was able to penetrate the Sony media company and publish all scripts, emails, videos,
Anything
the
they
whole
wanted.
thing. Apparently anything they wanted. And they were talking about what the U.S. government response should be. I'm like, the U.S. government response? Are we talking about the Barack Obama administration? The ones that spent $500 million to put up a healthcare website so you can enter your name and address? and it
was up.
failed
But it
for
was
4.5 months?
Hey. Well, so we're not that technically
I
acute?
say unleash our, hounds of technology from Washington, D.C. on
To
those
descend
red
on-
bastards.
descend on those
Teach
poor
them a
North
lesson. Teach
Koreans.
them what Americans can do with
With the internet.
what was the question again?
Oh, man.
Our guys can't hack into Amazon to order cookies.
That's right, to get the password. Yeah, some non-lethal cookies. Oy vey.
Yeah, better farm that one out there, Chief.
Yeah. Well, and the other response that's kind of got me is one of my least favorite but kind of fun movies is Team America World Police, and it's marionettes.
Oh, yeah?
It was done in 2004, and they do have a scene with Kim Jong-un's father, Kim Jong-il, where they go and try to assassinate him. They pulled that out.
Cutting the wires on that here pretty soon.
They did. They don't want that shown anywhere either. And the best part of that is I think this is the first incident in a movie where marionettes had sex.
On screen.
On screen. Yeah, right. We don't know what happened behind
I was going to say.
PBS or something.
My favorite marionette TV show.
What?
It's a classic. 1963. Fireball XL5.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The show ran 13 weeks and was a miserable failure economically, but the theme song played for a full year on the British top charts and
Yeah.
made a fortune.
And we probably can't play it because we owe royalties.
We're going to put it up here anyway. That'll be our closing
That's what I'm
song.
thinking. That'll close us out.
Let's hit it.
All right. See you next week.
I wish I was a spaceman, the fastest
I
guy
wish I
alive.
were a spaceman.
I'd fly you around the universe
fastest
in
guy
5XL5, way out in space together.
That's what I think.
In fact, I'm going to dig out one of the videos.
You put it in. We need some.
And
we
put
need
it
some
as a
video.
trailer.
Yeah, we need some video. Oh man, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit of a show there.
I think we got it.
We take the path to Jupiter and maybe very soon we cruise along the Milky Way and land upon the moon. To a wonderland of stardust we'd zoom our way to Mars. My heart would be a fireball, a fireball, 'cause you would be my Venus of the stars.
Okay, Venus?
Okay, Steve.
Right. Let's go.
Lieutenant 90, send out a general alert. This is an emergency.
Yes, sir. World Space Patrol Headquarters, Space City. Calling all Earth tracking stations. Emergency. Priority 1, stand by. Repeat, stand by.
Canaveral, roger. Woomera rocket range, standing by.
Okinawa, standing by.
Jodrell Vang, standing by.
What do you make of it, sir?
As I feared, Lieutenant 90, a missile.
According to the computer, it's carrying a planetomic bomb.
Which is powerful enough to destroy the whole Earth. Lieutenant 90, check the exact position of the missile, then instruct one of our spaceships to intercept. Let's see. Sector 25. That's Fireball XL5, Steve Zodiac.
Well, Robert, we're on our way home at last.
On our way home, on our way home, on our way home.
Gee, I keep forgetting you're only a robot. Say, Venus, how's our beautiful doctor of space medicine?
I gather by the compliment, Steve, you want something to eat. I'm preparing a meal right now.
I just adore your French cooking. What's on the menu today? Blue pills, pink pills, or those delicious capsules that you make up? Boy, will I be glad to get back to Earth to have a steak. Calling Navigation Bay. Say, Professor Mattick, how are we doing? Are we on schedule?
Well, Steve, we are approaching position 15-0 blue, and I'm registering minus 14G from the moon. 14G from the moon? That can only mean one thing.
Well, what's that, Professor?
It's time to eat.
Say, you gave me a scare. I thought it was something important.
Space City to Fireball. Planetomic missile approaching Earth. Position 24-0 red. Intercept. Repeat. Intercept.
Go, XL5. Abandon routine procedure. Intercepting enemy missile. Arming all warheads. Awaiting course instructions.
Steve, where is the missile heading?
According to Space City, it's heading towards Earth. We've got to stop it, Venus. It's carrying a planetomic warhead.
A planetomic warhead? Why, Steve, that's a million times more powerful than a hydrogen bomb.
That's right. Our only chance is to explode it in space as far away from Earth as possible.
Is the professor tracking the missile?
Yep. He's getting me a position right now.
Okay, Steve. I'll go straight away to help him.
Okay, Venus. Good shooting.
Steve, steer 184-0 blue.
Roger. All warheads go. Fire starboard thrusters.
Roger.
Okay, Professor. We're on course. Maximum speed.
All right, Steve. I'm switching to radar telescope. Radar telescope, Venus.
Radar telescope operating.
I've got it. Range 24-25. Steve, we will have to fire the interceptors at maximum range. That way we'll be clear of the radiation when it explodes.
Roger, Professor. Prepare forward interceptors.
Roger.
Fireball XL5 is dead on target.
How are we doing, Professor?
In range now, Steve. Stand by with interceptor.
Standing by.
Range 2400. G-rate 2.
2400. G rate 2.
Master guidance system UHF.
Master guidance system UHF.
10 seconds.
10 seconds, Steve.
Roger. Standing by to correct course.
6 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and go.
What's happened, Professor? The interceptor exploded before it reached the target.
It was exploded by radio waves. There must be a crew on board.
Yeah, a suicide crew. Interceptor 2.
Roger, interceptor 2.
Venus, switch on jamming beam.
Will do, Professor.
10 seconds. He's done it!
Nice work, Steve. You okay?
Fine, Commander. What now?
Steve, our computers have traced the source of the missile to planet 46, Sector 25. Looks like it's your baby. Good luck, Steve.
Roger. Setting course for planet 46 to investigate. Say, how about some coffee, Venus? I guess we've earned it. Sure am glad I've got Robert as a co-pilot.
How long, Steve, before we arrive at planet 46?
Oh, quite a few days yet, Venus. I suggest we rest all we can. We don't know what's in store for us when we arrive.
Say, how about that coffee?
Oh, gee, I'm sorry. I'm a tootie. I almost forgot.
Fireball XL5, this is Space City. According to our calculations, you are now approaching planet 46.
Space City, roger. Just going into orbit. We'll call you when we've carried out reconnaissance. Here we go. Fire main retros.
Okay, Steve. Firing retros.
All right, Steve. We're in orbit. Robert is in the rear control center. You are clear to go.
Okay, Professor. Venus and I will take a quick look around. If we need any help, we'll call you.
I'll be standing by, Steve. Take care of Venus. We don't want to lose our doctor of space medicine.
Sure thing, Professor. Safety belt fastened.
Safety belt fastened.
Here we go.
Steve, do you really think that the missile was launched from this planet?
Well, Venus, that's what the computers say. We have no evidence that there's any life on planet 46, although it does have an atmosphere.
What worries me, Steve, is that the computers in Space City are very rarely wrong.
Sure. That's why we're here. Let's unfasten our safety belts and go out and investigate on our jetmobiles.
Ah, good. They've landed safely.
See what I mean, Venus? No sign of life. No plants, no water, nothing.
Yes, but this could be just a barren part of the planet.
No, it's all like this. Professor Maddock has carried out extensive surveys of the planet from space.
Gee, this place gives me the creeps. Nothing but rocks and craters. And boy, is it cold. Steve, look, caves.
That could be the answer. I'm a tootie. Why didn't I think of that before? Come on, let's go.
Look, Steve. Diamonds. Thousands of diamonds.
Looks like we've stumbled on something, Venus. Come on. Venus, stop. Venus, on the other side, look. A door. This can only mean one thing, life. I'm going across, Venus. You stay here. If anything happens, get back to the ship right away and get help, fast.
But Steve... Steve... Steve, what's wrong?
The forward thrust motors have failed. Must be the heat. My speed has dropped, but I can still make it as long as the hover jets don't stop.
Turn back, Steve.
It's too late. I've got to keep going now.
Steve, you're almost there.
Venus, I made it.
Oh, Steve.
Venus, get help. Fast.
Steve Zodiac, you appear to have recovered from the effects of the coma ray.
What's happened to Venus?
Your Earth woman is quite safe for the moment.
Where is she?
She is out there in the rocket that will be launched against Earth in exactly 8 minutes from now.
You're bluffing.
Am I? Commence launching procedure.
Okay. What do you want me to do?
Very simple. Instruct your spaceship to land.
And if I don't?
You will.
Fireball XL5. This is Steve Zodiac. Have discovered launching bay and have occupants held as prisoners. Bring her down, Professor. I can't carry them all in Fireball Junior.
That's boss, Steve. We're on our way. Robert, landing procedure. Position code 220 red.
Landing procedure underway.
Excellent, Steve Zodiac. Now instruct him to land at position code 220 blue, and your Earth woman will be released.
Fireball XL5. This is Steve Zodiac. That's right, Professor. Land at position code 220 blue.
But Steve,
No questions, Professor. Just do as I say, please.
Okay, Steve. Robert, change landing procedure. Blue position, code 220 green.
Changing landing position to code 220 green.
Correction, blue. Repeat, blue.
Understand, blue.
Now, Robert, it's no need to get all steamed up. We all make mistakes. I know you think I'm a bit of a toot, but I'm only human.
Good. Now, Steve Zodiac, observe.
They're sinking into the ground.
They are indeed. All is going according to plan. Your spaceship will sink in the ash. The beautiful Earth woman will die. When the rocket hits its target, Earth, then it is your turn. You have already cost us one failure.
So much for your word as a subterranean.
Silence, Earthman. Proceed with launching.
Resuming countdown at -40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32. Robert, restart the motors. Robert, what's the matter? Are you there? Twelve, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignite. Volt on guidance mechanism.
Change guidance frequency.
Tabahaduya. 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 Niko patapasuha. Niko patapasuha. Nito patapasuha. Nako tabuha. Nara chupurala. Hayo. Namatawara. Rocket now under control. Guidance system functioning normally.
Don't worry, Steve Zodiac. Unlike Earthmen, we do not make mistakes.
That's what you think.
It's no good, Robert. We can't get her out of this without Fireball Jr. What's happened to Steve?
Fireball XL5 from Steve Zodiac. I'll be with you in a moment, Professor. Once we get the nose cone attached, we'll be able to pull Fireball out of the ash.
Hurry, Steve! We're almost completely submerged.
Okay, Professor, I'm back. Firing main boosters.
All right. Instruct your subterrane to abandon the missile with Venus. Now, if you don't, we'll be forced to destroy your planet. Now, transmit.
This is your subterranean chief speaking. Abandon missile with Earthwoman.
Repeat. Abandon missile with Earthwoman. I have passed on your message, but to no avail. The Earthwoman will die anyway. They have no space equipment on board.
Here, take this. It's an oxygen pill. It'll enable you to live in space.
Okay, Professor, I've taken my oxygen pills. I'm going to bring Venus and the subterrane on board.
Take it easy, Steve. Okay, Steve. They've ejected.
Roger, Professor.
Prepare interceptor missile for launching.
Message understood.
Ignition and go.
Well done, Professor. Now winch us in. Well, Venus, there's Earth. Sure looks better from here than inside that subterranean rocket.
Thanks to you, Steve. I guess I know now why they call you the greatest astronaut on space patrol.
I think you're cute, too. Space Patrol, this is Fireball XL5 returning to base. Mission complete. Over and out.
I wish I was a spaceman, the fastest guy alive. I'd fly you around the universe in Fireball XL5. Way out in space together, conquerors of the sky. My heart would be a fireball, a fireball. Every time I gazed into your starry eyes, we'd take the path to Jupiter, and maybe very soon we'd cruise along the Milky Way and land upon the moon. To a wonderland of stardust, we'll zoom our way to Mars. My heart would be a fireball, a fireball, 'cause you would be my Venus of the stars.
I guess this is our last show of 2014.
Yes, our Christmas special.
Our Christmas special.
I always wanted to have a Christmas special.
Little Bing Crosby.
Yes, that's right.
We'd like to thank all of you for viewing us in 2014 and extend our most heartfelt prayers and wishes for a happy holiday season for you and your families, your kids, your grandkids, and the neighbor kids.
Even people you don't like.
Even people you don't like. This time of year, it's a good thing.
It is.
So, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from EVTV.
We'll see you next year.